Hello, Internet. Welcome back to the channel. So today we're looking at rounding and hoping that we can get some beginners to totally skip over the rounding phase and go to a deep pocket phase. So we'll go over why do we want a deep pocket, and then we'll go over how to get a deeper pocket. But first, rounding. So I have a personal pet peeve about rounding that there's an incomplete definition that gets thrown around a lot. I literally just heard this on a podcast driving home that they said that if the disc can't see the target, so if I'm throwing towards you and the disc ends up here, then 100% that's a good definition for rounding. I was like, no, absolutely not. There's a lot of nuance there that you're missing. Why? Because, right, if I go wide rail, I can get a good pocket. Cool. If I go Stokely method, straight back, which has problems but works as a mental model for a lot of people, yes, I can get a good pocket. Can Drew Gibson reach out here, throwing directly away from the camera, and still throw 500 feet? Yes. So is he rounding? No, probably not. So it's not a complete definition, right? If there's exceptions, then that's not right. So also from all three positions, wide rail, straight reach back, and rounding, reaching behind me if I'm really going for distance. From all of those, I can also collapse my bicep into my pec and do the beginner rounding throw that we all know, right? So I can do that from Drew Gibson mode. I can do that from Stokely mode. I can also do it from a out and out wide rail. If I rotate my shoulders too fast relative to the speed my elbow is moving forward, this will collapse and I will have a bad throw. So that's actually the variable, right? Is where is the elbow going in relation to the timing of the shoulders? If I do this trebuchet drill thing that I just put a video up about, and I'm sure other people have had that idea, it's not mine by any means. I know at least one person that came up with it independently of me. So if you like it, use it, call it whatever you want, but it works, right? This structure keeps me from collapsing. Even if I go to Drew Gibson mode, I can't collapse because I have mechanically tied my shoulder rotation to the position of my elbow. So my elbow is rotating with my shoulders, which makes it easy to feel the coil in happen without muscular contraction, and then the sling out happen because I'm continuing to drive my rotation in my elbow. Hopefully that makes sense. So the next step is, well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Why does that work? Why do we want to be here and not here? Because here, my lever is from the center of my spine to my elbow. It's, a foot and a couple inches. When I collapse, now my lever to my elbow, first of all, my elbow isn't going to lever as much, and I've shortened the length of, or it isn't going to hinge as much, and I've shortened the length of my lever. Now the distance from my spine to my elbow is only like 6-8 inches. So I just don't have as much power. And you can see it visually, I hope, that here I have power, right? I have a lever. It's going to go far. And here I don't have a lever and it's not going to go far, right? So why do we want a deep pocket? If you have three positions, rounding mode, and beginner power pocket with a 90-degree angle and a 90-degree angle, and my disc is somewhere around center chest, and a deeper power pocket where my disc is on my right pec. So I have long distance from here to the hit, medium distance from here to the hit, and short distance from here to the hit. I'm going to get the same amount of rotation on the disc because my hand is in roughly the same position on the disc here, here, and here. And it's on the same orientation on the disc at the hit. So long space, same amount of rotation. Less space, same amount of rotation. So that rotation is going to happen faster. And then the more I can compress that space, the rotation rather, into less time and space, the more total RPMs are going to be on the disc, which means I'm going to have more snap, more spin, and more speed, which means I'm going to get more distance. That's why we want a deep power pocket. So beginners get all hung up on this 90-90 thing because that's what we've coached, but that's not what the top players are doing. They're getting over here. Hopefully that makes sense. So how do we get there? We get there by changing the timing, right? If the shoulders go too fast and the arm goes too slow, we end up here. We actually want to flip that on its head. So we want the arm to be going faster, right? So all we need to do as a drill is, so let's make this a standstill, make it simple, and don't even include a weight shift at first. We're just focusing on the arm and the shoulder rotation. So you can you can spin your hips, but don't focus on a weight shift for now. We're just trying to simplify everything. So you can move your hips, you can do a full reach back wherever feels comfortable for you, but then your goal from here is you want to have your shoulders stop here at 90. They won't, and that's not a thing you should think about trying to do. I'm not going to move my shoulders and then stop moving my shoulders. Don't do that. But timing wise, you want the arm to be done with its entire motion by the time your shoulders get to here flat to the target, if I'm throwing that way. So if I'm throwing towards the camera, I'm going to find my stagger. I'm going to agree not to weight shift. It's okay to rotate my hips. Find my reach back position. I'm going to throw and have the disc gone by the time my shoulders get here. So this is probably overtraining because you wouldn't actually necessarily throw that way. But in order to make a change, we're going to move that needle farther than it needs to go, and then we'll dial it back as we build this drill back into a full throw. So all I'm trying to do is get from my reach back position to a deep pocket and then have the arm finish earlier relative to the shoulder rotation. So it's just the opposite of reaching back, turning my shoulders too fast and getting screwed. Now I'm going to reach back and send my arm too fast. So there's a funny thing that happens. A lot of coaches, trying to keep this short, a lot of coaches get stuck on this swim move thing and that it's magically somehow going to stop your shoulders. I don't think that's actually correct. I am lucky enough to have the ear of a gentleman who happens to have motion capture data on a bunch of the pros. And anytime I try to bounce an idea off him, he's very quick to shut down anything that doesn't make sense according to physics. So he's pretty sure that the swim move doesn't do anything. And my little makeshift thought experiment for it is a little bit weird, but roll with me. So put me in a 5-point harness, hang me from the ceiling, cut my legs off, and go like this and spin me around, right? So I'm spinning, and then I'm swim moving. Is that going to stop my torso from spinning for any reason? No, pretty sure it's not. Have yet to actually do the experiment, but maybe we'll put that on the YouTube someday. So the one way that it could make sense is if this swim move is cueing me to connect my shoulder with cross-body tension to my hips. And if my hips are stopping, I could use that to slow my shoulder rotation. So maybe there's something there, but I don't think that's really what's happening. But what will actually make the shoulder slow down is just how Paul pulls in here to get tighter like an ice skater and spin. The same thing happens here, right? So in my pocket, hopefully deep, I'm spinning quickly. As the disc ejects, that's actually going to make it so that my rotation slows down, right? If I'm spinning like this and then I pull in, I'll go faster. Same thing, if I'm spinning fast and I open my arms up, I'm going to slow down. So what actually makes you slow down, according to motion capture dude, is the arm getting out there, especially with the weight of the disc. So this is going to increase your rotational inertia and make you slow down. So the best way to have your shoulders not over rotate, to not be here, is to just get the arm motion done before the shoulders have over rotated. So that's where the drill comes in, right? Is I'm just trying to throw and then rotate. But for the drill, you're not trying to rotate. You're trying to have everything done by the time you get here. So try it out. See if it works for you. The first couple times I threw like this, it made a huge difference. And you start to see how Loop Ghost and Seabass, those guys, can throw as far as we can with their standstills when we're trying to do a full, Conrad run up. So try it out. See if it makes sense for you. Drop me a line. Let me know if it makes sense or if you think I'm crazy. But I hope it's helpful. All right, Internet. See you next time.